I'm on Glasgow necropolis, above mills and tenements. This quiet is selective. No legends today. We follow plot deeds, street plans, and papers to see who counts. The best ground faces the city. Families pay for elevation, and officials record it.
Below these stones, trade circulars list cotton thread, iron castings, and Clyde shipping. Census jumps from 100,000 to over 300,000. Boarding rooms overflow. We sharpen an old street photo and letting ads. Terraces above, closes below. Status is postcode. Burial committee fee lists push the poor downhill. The rich buy permanence up top.
Up here, memory is a resource. You buy a plot, you buy a line in the city story. Why do merchants get statues, while coal haulers leave only a number in a register? That logic still feels modern. Once you spot it, you read power in every civic symbol.
Newspapers praise benefactors, yet court notices hint at debts, layoffs, and broken promises. Poorhouse rolls and pauper burial records list thousands. Monuments rarely mention them. In taverns, people talk of subscriptions steering monuments, favors traded for stone and silence. New arrivals, including Highland families, build schools, aid funds, and churches to survive. At St. Andrew's Roman Catholic Cathedral doors, arrivals from Ireland after famine face scrutiny. Inside, it's not about masonry. A parish network finds jobs, loans, and shelter fast.
Turn right past the square.
Baptism ledgers, meeting minutes, and press reports link names to rooms, welcomed or watched.
At St. Andrew's, the notice boards matter. Work leads, collections, and names of donors. To outsiders, this looks like a block. Editorials call it a problem, not mutual aid. When a group becomes visible, the city replies with bylaws, processions, schools, licenses.
Glasgow is not one story. Dock money, parish ties, and council minutes collide on each street. West of here, St. Mary's Cathedral draws another circle of patrons, schools, and respectability. There, faith and civic power bargain over influence, and identity turns into written policy.
Now I'll show you where belief and influence stop being private and start shaping policy. On St. Mary's steps, notices list school fees, charity drives, and committee names. In Glasgow, worship also sorts the city: who vouches, who hires, who stays outside.
Parish registers show new surnames each week. Borders form around schools and shops. Notices for aid funds and night classes tie families to one door. One committee, one vote. Council files later show permits and school rules used to cool tension, not end it. When daily life turns into disputes, the next step is paper, bylaws, rates, enforcement.
Arguments start with rent books and hiring queues, then harden into lines you can't cross. You live next door and still get denied. Shop credits, apprenticeships, even a landlord's nod. When that friction grows, the city stops debating and starts writing, so we go downtown.
City Chambers runs on minutes, budgets, and licenses. Authority lives in routine wording. Here they set street widths, cleansing routes, and market rules, then charge someone for it.
In city chambers, clerks copy votes into ledgers. One clause can erase a street trade. Licenses decide who sells at corners, who runs lodging rooms, and who gets fined first. Tenders look orderly, yet the same firms recur. Networks beat merit without a bribe. Their paperwork lands on real streets, so we move to the place that measures time in fares.
Reports track fires, disease scares, and crowd trouble. The fear is a city that won't obey. Measures sold as protection also map movement. Hours, permits, inspections, penalties. The clearest test is transport, moving crowds without panic, delays, or street conflict.
At Central Station, porters funnel crowds past ticket windows. Timetables rule the floor. Missing a train means missed wages, spoiled goods, and rent due anyway.
Central Station schedules turn distance into minutes. Wages and rents shift with the clock. Traffic ledgers and ads show profits moving by rail and influence moving with them. With speed come risks, crushes, theft, ticket fraud, notices worn, papers tally incidents.
Next is St Enoch, another stream, more rules, and more lost notices in the evening press.
At St. Enoch, arrival boards split traffic, posted fares separate clerks from laborers. Parcel notices and excursion ads show who travels often, others wait, losing half days.
I watch the queue fold around the ticket window. Warnings sit in plain view. Staff stand by the barrier, reading faces. If you're delayed, your train won't wait. Miss one connection and you miss a shift. Foreman cut pay without apology.
This speed forces new links over the Clyde. The next crossing shows who gains access.
This bridge isn't decoration. One span rewrites time and access. When flow slows here, wages and deliveries start slipping everywhere.
Street plans reroute traffic to this bridge. Ads sell near the crossing as value. Accidents appear in police logs. Each one triggers new rules on loads, lanes, and conduct. At Queen's Dock, port ledgers list timber, coal, and cotton bales, named by consignee. Pay is day-to-day. A torn hand ends work, and debt collectors still call it supper.
Out here, work starts with a look, then you wait. What's harder here, the weather or the pace? Oh, definitely the pace, mates. Got to keep moving or the boss is on ya.
The pace. Slow down once and you lose the day.
Tomorrow's work, rules decide or people do? That's a good question. I reckon it's a bit of both, innit?
Rules look neat. The nod decides who gets picked.
At Fairfield in Gorvan, timekeepers chalk numbers. Rivet gangs move fast under a foreman's eye. A drop plate can crush a foot. One mistake puts a family on pawn tickets by next week.
Order books bring wages and pride, yet one canceled contract cuts hours across whole streets. Discipline is written, fines for lateness, charges for waste. The worker carries the risk. Men talk of marks that follow disputes. Better yards stop calling without a formal ban.
We have seen the network, Gymnasium, station, bridge, dock, yard, Johansax, each adds profit and casualties. Next comes Templeton, the clean facade. We tested against injury files, rules, and reports. At Templeton, the facade is built to impress. The gateboard lists shifts and wage bands. The display is selective. Visitors see pattern books, not the accident log kept inside.
Company adverts push Axminster carpets. Hiring notices demand speed, not craft alone. Factory inspector reports track crushed fingers and dust coughs. Stoppages cut wages. Rule boards fine lateness and waste. Management calls it order. Workers call it loss.
Factories need water for steam and washing. Next is the pipe network and who connects.
In council minutes, clean water is framed as control, connections, rates, and liability. Yet engineers plan the Loch Katrina scheme. The line opens in 1859 for Glasgow. Cholera scares drive votes. Papers blame dirty districts. And policing follows the blame. We restore a faded scheme map, then let it sharpen. Mains, valves, and branch lines appear. The picture shows inequality. Some closes get taps early, others queue at wells for years.
In tenements, water talk is practical. You boil, you ration, You watch children for fever. Complaints ask why richer streets connect first. The answer hides in rate books and maps. At People's Palace, plaques say for the people. Conduct rules quietly set who belongs. It promises dignity, but it also edits. Which worker stories are safe for display?
Opening speeches sell self-help and order. Exhibits praise thrift while avoiding strike talk. Critics in the press note missing names. Accidents, evictions, blacklists stay off the walls.
When officials teach, they also manage mood. Concerts and lectures drain tension from streets. A sharper release sits nearby, a hall where jokes test limits under watchful eyes. At Britannia Panopticon, posters pull clerks and labourers onto the same benches.
Playbills and reviews list songs, patter, satire. Mixed crowds alarm moral reformers. Laughter turns gossip into critique. What is risky in print becomes safer as a joke. When the show ends, the crowd returns to timetables. Soon the city tunnels trains below.
Next is the subway. Faster trips, tighter conduct rules, and new friction in shared cars.
The subway opens in 1896, a tight circle that cuts crossing times. Plans, tenders, and press notes show why. Streets choke, and employers demand minutes.
At the entrance, fare boards and rules are posted. Inspectors watch the flow down the stairs. In one carriage, clerks and labourers stand shoulder to shoulder. Complaints rise in letters. Safety becomes policy. Stop-start signals, crowd control, and fines for disorder on platforms.
Property ads start listing station distance. Rents move when a commute shrinks to stops. Timetables turn into discipline. Late workers blame trains, foremen blame the worker.
You ride faster, but do you feel safer or just rushed by a clock you don't control?
It's about efficiency, certainly, but we strive for comfort and safety within that pace. Safer than carts, but packed at shift change, I grip my purse tight and keep counting.
Interesting.
People repeat stories of men lost in tunnels at night. Do you believe any of it?
I've heard the tales, yes. I doubt most, yet when lights fail, you hear anything. A shout echoes and nerves jump.
Above ground at Gilmore Hill, the university gate lists fees. Access starts with money. Lecture rooms feed industry and medicine. Graduates write reports that shape city decisions.
Calendars and speeches link chairs to shipyards, sanitation, and engineering contracts. Donors fund labs and prizes. In return, research often matches the city's needs. Entry rules and costs keep many out. Scholarships exist, but competition favors the known.
Knowledge leaves the quad as advice and prestige. Next, we see it packaged as leisure.
At the Botanic Gardens, hours and conduct rules are printed. Strolling has boundaries. Plant labels and catalogs trace exchanges from ports and colonies. Networks show in Latin.
Benches separate the confident from the uneasy. Accents and clothes decide who feels watched. Inside Kibble Palace, iron ribs and glass panels sell progress as respectable taste.
Opening notices frame it for improvement in study, but it also signals who is proper.
Step into Kelvin Grove Park and the city mixes again. Soon, it stages itself for the world. In 1888, this ground hosts a huge exhibition, and every choice has a cost. Kelvin Grove looks open and calm, but workers stake lanes for crowds, stalls, and carts. Those stakes decide access, where gates sit, where police stand, and who gets pushed aside.
In 1888, this park hosts the International Exhibition, permits reshape the grounds. The catalog frames Glasgow. It tells visitors what the city wants them to see first. Halls list machinery, textiles, and art. Booth names double as advertisements for contracts. The program celebrates output, but omits injuries, evictions, and strikes that power output. Gate rules set hours, tickets, and conduct. Order guards reputation and keeps money moving.
At the ticket line, prices change by day. Better-dressed visitors slip in through side gates. Inside, factory owners pause by engines. Apprentices follow, counting parts they may never afford.
The crowd is a test. Who belongs at the front rail and who is told to keep moving.
Editorials question costs and policing. Organizers answer with accounts, patrols, and fines. Care looks like control, barriers, one-way routes, and inspectors who remove troublemakers. Behind exhibits, hired hands build and clean at dawn. Their names stay off the program.
You work near the booths here. Do you feel pride or worry about tomorrow's rent?
I worry. Pride for an hour, then worry. I stitch at night. The fee at the gate equals my supper.
They say the exhibition changes Glasgow. For you, does it bring work or raise prices?
More work for some. My landlord lifts the rent after big days. My pay stays the same.
When the crowds leave, the bills stay. Glory lands unevenly across wards and wages. A decade later, a different project appears. In 1899, a school trades in design.
At Glasgow School of Art, the entrance book lists donors. Culture runs on industrial money.
Studios set standards and taste. Graduates design the look of shops, posters, and future housing.
Records mark the first building phase in 1899. Press calls it a new style. In a city used to tonnage, design becomes leverage. Patrons steer taste and training.
If Glasgow learns to polish its image, can it stop counting people by usefulness in ledgers?